always so nerve-wracking. Welcome back, guys, to It's Cool Us Too, the podcast for women in their 30s who are looking to design their dream life on their term, by their rules, their timeline, and just kind of how they want it to be. I'm so excited today because we have someone that I have known for a very long time. Janell Karst is with us today. Janell is a marketing director for a global brand, which is how she and I met originally almost 15 years ago, which is wild. She is a certified executive coach, and she is also the author of the Badass Planner Method. Janell, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I love the name of your podcast. It's Cool Us Too, because really it's us too on so many things. And this age of, in your 30s, it's such a powerhouse decade. So I'm so thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
No, I'm so glad you said that because, well, thank you for saying that, first of all. But that's really what I think when we were thinking of the ethos of the podcast. Your 30s are so divergent for so many people. Everyone's doing their own thing, starting to splinter off. We've talked about the splinter era so much. And it's hard to maybe feel like other people are going through what you're going through. And that's what we want to get out of this. So why don't you, I kind of gave the high level synopsis of who you are, but why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself to get us going?
Sure. Well, I was born on a spring day in 1980. This is a multi-part series.
Honestly, no one has done that yet. And I've been hoping that someone would do that. Whenever we interview people, we're like, take us through your background. And I love that you're on a crisp spring morning.
And this is what people in their 40s do. So there you go.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So a little bit about myself, this is probably such a hard question to answer. Who are you? And tell us about yourself. So one of the things I came up with lately that seems to be landing is I'm an and person. I'm a 45-year-old woman. I'm a multi-passionate and person. And what I mean by that is, yes, I wear the corporate hat. I've been wearing it for 15 years. And I had a baby hat out of business school, and I got bigger and bigger, climbed that ladder. And now I have a big, heavy hat. And it's awesome. But it also isn't the thing that lights my soul on fire. And I knew that a while ago. So in that 15 years, I was like, there's this little calling inside of me that maybe there's something else. And so in my 30s is where I started playing around with that andness that I had inside of me, stepping out into, in a safe way, because the day job's paying the mortgage, what else is out there for me? And it turns out it was, a lot of things I've been always passionate about, but I just didn't believe or have the confidence that I could, make it doing that. So it was safe to do that. So I would say that's a little bit about me in terms of that progression. I'm also a mom to a 10-year-old. So in my 30s, I was 36 when I had Haley. So, and it wasn't something I planned for, even wanted. It wasn't on my vision board at all to be a mom, anyway, she's amazing, a unicorn, and I'm so glad I did that. And I think the other thing I'll just mention is I live on the west coast of Canada. And it's January and we have green grass and it's really beautiful here. So just throwing that out there for the rest of the country.
You're talking to two people that are living in the tundra right now in Ontario.
How dare you, Janell?
Megan looks out her balcony and it just looks like there's no balcony because it's covered in snow.
No way.
No, yeah, I'll send you a picture after. It's literally, you can't even see my patio furniture. I actually saw something. We will go back to regularly scheduled programming in a second here, but I did see something on TikTok where it was actually quite sweet. It was a guy in his mid-20s saying, I just moved into my first apartment. What are you supposed to do with all the snow on your patio? Will my patio break? Was essentially his question. And I was
valid question.
Wait, that's actually a really fair question. And I didn't get the answer.
How much snow?
But yes, that's what we're living through.
Are you responsible for shoveling? Do I need to buy a shovel? These are the questions.
He's like, do I throw it off the balcony? And I was like, sir, please don't.
That feels like a hazard. Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Anyways, okay, so now that we're jealous enough of your winter and your January, I want to kind of take us back in. So, full transparency, breaking the fourth wall, we always do a pre call with all of our guests. We want to learn a little bit more about them and angles. And one of the things that you talked about, which I think is so common but never talked about, is feeling maybe like you had it all. Like when you lay out your biography and a little bit about yourself, you've got a great job, you've got incredible things that light you up outside of the job, you've got the family, all of these things tick, tick, tick. But you ended up feeling a little something. And I think it was a bit of a catalyst for you in your mid to late 20s, not to like lead you down that path entirely.
Yeah, no, lead away, sister. So, I hit this. Okay, so I saw a picture of myself that really shook me to my core. And it was about a year or so after I'd had Haley. I gained a lot of weight with my pregnancy that just decided it was going to stay forever. And I saw this picture of myself, and it wasn't just my physical self that was alarming. It was that when I zeroed in, my eyes were black. And I have big, beautiful blue eyes. And I zeroed in on this picture, and like my whole core just like, honestly, I just remember like the breath being taken right out of me because there was no Janell. Janell was not there. There was no spark. There was nothing. And as soon as I realized that, I immediately went to guilt and shame. How dare I not have so much gratitude and be happy? Look at all the things that you have. Look at all the things that you've done. And I just felt even worse because I was like, the name of the show, is this all there is?
Yeah.
Is this all there is? And it was just this mental breakdown. I looked over at my beautiful, healthy baby. I looked over at my designer sheepadoodle, my white pick. I literally had a white frickin' picket fence around my house.
Wow.
I'm not even joking. And my, supportive, amazing husband who's still the love of my life, all these things, and the corporate job. And I just I was not happy. I was not there. And I had lost myself, and I didn't even know when. So that was a moment that I had. And I'm not sure if either of you have felt that, but it is not something that any of us probably ever want to do again, right?
Well, you almost just feel like, I think you explained it perfectly, these overwhelming feelings of shame and guilt. As soon as you feel that feeling, I feel for a lot of women, the immediate next feeling is, I have no right to feel this way. And it's almost this self-abandonment, or maybe I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but really discounting your own feelings and what you want in that moment, and feeling like, well, I have no right to feel this way. When instead, in reality, you'd probably spread yourself so thin, put like little pieces of your soul into all of these areas without truly tending to yourself.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if I felt exactly that. I don't know if I felt that exactly that way. And it feels like it was such a striking moment for you, which is maybe why I'm pausing. But one thing I do remember talking about in our initial pre-call was, you had said, is this all there is something that you had felt, and you used those exact words. And I've used those exact words with Nicole. I've probably said them on the pod. So it's not exactly the same, but it's a similar feeling of sitting back and saying, this can't be everything. There has to be more. And I imagine that was sort of one side of the same coin that transitioned you into change and, whatever happens next in your story. But I think that those two things are very tied together.
And it's also that, is this all there is? I thought I would feel different when I got here.
Yeah.
And because you're it's like when you have like a really big goal and you finally achieve it, and it's like, oh, anticlimactic, And I think that's how I felt in my entire 30s. I was like, oh, well, I clicked all the boxes. I thought this meant I would be like I'd have it all figured out and life would just be amazing. And again, it wasn't not amazing. So you're in
So
this place where you're comfortable, you
yeah.
have it all, and you're like, well, I should just really be happy.
Yeah. So
So
what happened next then? Sorry.
Okay.
no, it's perfect.
Okay, great. I want to know how because you got bright blue eyes, Janelle. You like do not look like a woman who is questioning or feels like they've lost themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, what did you do to move away from that feeling?
First of all, I just got goosebumps all over my body. So I'm like a full body tingle, fuck yes type of person. And the reason I say that is because I started listening to that. And so often I'd be like, weird, that's weird. I have that tingle in my body, or like I have that voice.
Mm,
And I'm just like, what is that? Okay, enough of that. Like, And so I think for most of my life, I had just taught myself to either think that's weird
mm,
or just discount it as random thoughts. It's time to get to work, get back to it. So, going back to this moment. So I see this picture, I have this moment. And I really was like, no, I just this resolve, like when you hit a rock bottom in anything in life, you get to a certain point where the pain is enough that you do something. So to your point, the change is here. We've hit bottom. We're going to do something about it. I do not want to feel this way anymore. And I think
mm-hmm.
for most of us, it's a feeling. I just can't go on feeling like this anymore. So I got this resolve. And this was the very first year that I picked a word of a year. So I picked a word of the year ever since, but my very first word was badass. And I was like, Janelle, you are a badass. You just need to get that feeling back. Like, that swagger, you're like, badass. I'm like, that. I need to get that back. And so I sort of had this like sense of like, I can do this. I can get that vibe back. And so I was like, okay, great. What do I do now? Right. So what's my next step? How do I get this badassery back? And so instead of trying to boil the ocean about what's my purpose in life and all those
Yeah.
things, I was like, my mind just couldn't wrap around what that was. I picked something that I could wrap my head around, which is I'm going to lose 50 pounds. If I lose 50 pounds, surely all my problems will go away. I'll be a millionaire and just everything will be awesome, right? Of course, I had a lot riding on this 50 pounds. But all jokes aside, what this meant was I had a plan. I had something I could follow. I had a process. I knew I needed to figure out my macros, get my diet in order, cut down the weekend warrior. I knew that I had to make choices, probably time to quit smoking. Like there was a lot of things that I was like, the person that I know that I'm meant to be doesn't have these habits. So let's start working on those things. And I'm like, I'm going to go work out. Like, yeah, I see people working out. They seem to like it. I mean, how hard can it be, right? So I mean, at 30, I think I was 36, 37, 38. This was the very first time I worked out in my whole life.
I know, and I'm not trying to laugh at you. I just love the way you said that. You were like, I've seen people do it. Seems like they enjoyed themselves. Why don't I give it a go? Like, I love that attitude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't the kid in school that played volleyball. I mean, I was living on my own since I was 15. Like, there's a whole life
oh my
here,
gosh,
right?
We have so much else we need to dive into, Janelle.
Oh man, not a series. I teed this up for a series, right?
Honestly,
multi-part.
Yes, please.
Netflix, call us.
Yeah, and I think that just to finish that part off is just like I wasn't drawing on something I'd done before that I was like, oh, I'm just going to do what I used to do and then reorientate myself. I was in a situation where I had to pick a new identity and say, I'm going to place my bet on Janell Karst, the fit, lean, healthy, vibrant version of me that's sexy and like, that I want that vibe. And how do I get that? And so I was like, well, I'm going to have to probably do some work. And I'm used to doing hard work, but I never applied it to a personal goal like that. And I think because I never did it before, I didn't realize like how fucking hard it would be. I was like, I mean, I'm sure I could do this, right?
Yeah.
I did these things. How hard can it be, right?
Did you, when you were going through this and kind of had this reckoning, were you like, I'm just going to do this myself and it's like me, myself, and I? Or was this something that you talked about, leaned on like your husband or your friends? Or like, I'm interested to know if this was something you pursued independently or if it's something you brought people in your like inner circle along with, because so many people, I think, going through something like this are like, I have to do it by myself, or, you know, if I don't tell people, I won't be accountable. Like, I think I'm really interested to know if this was how you approached it.
Well, it would have been so sweet to have some friends along with the journey. But I wasn't hanging out with anyone whose values those things were.
Interesting.
So, you know, again, I'm picking a new identity and I'm choosing a path of loneliness. And so with that comes grit and resolve and resilience, something I'm very familiar with. So I went back to, I got to do this myself and I got to survive and I got to do the things. I know that's mentality and grit. So I just applied this to this. I'm not saying my husband didn't help make healthier meals and we did go to the gym and stuff, but the weekends came and he was like, cool, I'm going to keep doing the things we used to do. And by the way, like, you didn't let me know that you're not going to be like having fun anymore. And I was like, I'm still fun. He's like, yeah. So there was that. There was, I'm doing this no matter what because I need this. I cannot get up every day, this Groundhog Day of feeling like the black eyes, no spark, Janelle. So there was that drive. Plus, I started seeing some results. And so when you start seeing a little bit of results, your clothes are fitting better, your eyes are brighter, like you just carry yourself a little bit different. I had more energy. I was just like, okay, so that became my drug of choice then, you know, that became the thing that, you know, I became addicted to straight up. And I wanted more of that. And then part two was I like, there's got to be people out there that are still cool. They're not like health nuts and don't do anything. And they're still cool, but they have their health and optimal living as like their values. That's what they have in their life. I'm like, there's got to be people out there that I can connect with. And so I kind of went on a search for them. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say that are balanced, you know, not in one direction or the other. Yeah.
And still cool. Like, you know, I didn't want to hang out with people that were boring. Like, that's not going to work. I'd rather just hang out with myself
who
if
does?
I have to hang out with boring people. Like I go to depths all the time. I don't want to talk about the weather, local sports team. Like, please, like, let's go deep. Like, what's your favorite thing in your life that's ever happened to you? Let's go there. Like, you know, I like the depth. Anyways, very quickly, and you put stuff out into the universe with enough intention and things come. So my friend's dad on his Facebook posted this, ad about this group called Healthy Role Models. And it was this community of women, and it was online fitness and nutrition and living your best life. And it was all done online. And I trust, my friend and his dad quite a bit. And I was like, shoot. So I look at the marketing and I was just like, you know what? Even if only 10% of this marketing is true, and we know that's about right, this could be a place for me. So I was like, cool. They had like what they call a journey. And I signed up, and I was like, signed up for the photo shoot. I was like adding to cart all the things. And I was like, I'm just going to do this 100% for 3 months. What have I got to lose? And that was a decision that forever shifted my life. And I'm now, I think, into my 15th journey with Healthy Role Models.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And what is a journey?
Yeah.
So a journey is like a 3-month kind of fitness. So you get, your workouts, and you belong to the Facebook community, and it's just like kind of like a nice compact thing that everyone does, and you post your selfies every day. And I mean, it was really cool. And actually on my very first journey, I was one of the finalists, and I was sitting there being like, okay, imposter syndrome majorly happening here, because did they not know that I was like a chain smoking, whiskey drinking, and here I am being, acknowledged for being, a fit person and a leader. And I was just like, who this? So my identity, I became her.
How did that, sorry, Meg. We're both so into it. We just can't stop.
Really
we have questions.
Invested.
You go first. I'll go next.
I mean, mine's sort of a bigger question. You just said you like to go deep, so I'm going to hit you with kind of a deep question. So I definitely am a party girl. I've always loved to go out, and you described yourself as like you used to be a chain smoker, like whiskey drinker. and that you were friends with people prior to deciding to make this change that really didn't align with some of the new ways that you want, or like habits or new ways that you wanted to live your life. And I guess I'm just wondering, how much do you feel like you lost of your community or your identity by like taking away some of the thing, like the hobbies that you used to do with all those people? Like we touched on the good bits, but how was kind of getting through that without those people and those habits? Did you find that hard?
Oh yeah. I found it hard. I had a lot of resentment to them
Yeah.
that, you weren't supporting me. And also the realization that like, really, are we only good at 3 a.m. when we're having life talks and partying? Like, like we always say, hey, let's get together and let's do these things. We never do. And then if we do get together, it's just the same. So let me be clear. I still like to drink champagne and have a good time. Like there's no like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm completely this new person.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to only be that person. And I was like, at
Such a
some
good,
point, this
yeah.
is going to be like not sustainable health wise, although I didn't care too much about that. But I had a daughter now. And so that shifted things. So I will say that when I got pregnant, again, it wasn't planned. And I was pissed when I found out because like I didn't get a, going away party. I never got like another like go. I mean, you're done. You're done and you're growing a baby now, right? And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh my goodness, like I've been kind of going at it since 13, 14, like having a great life, lots of fun, mega partier. And so I'd never known myself to be in a social situation without carrying on and drinking and doing whatever. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to be still funny or cool? Or will anyone even want to hang out with me?
It's wild because like your identity is just so tied to that at that point, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Turns out the loud voice and the big personality, it wasn't tied to the whiskey. So, I mean, phew, because like that would be so sad.
It sounds honestly though, like all of this, well, it started with your physical health journey and putting yourself first really was a catalyst for an entire identity shift and confidence that it seems has shown up in multiple areas of your life. So my question to you is, what advice would you have to someone who's feeling that sinking feeling of, is this all there is? Like, is the best way to focus on your health and things like that? Or is that something that can be applied maybe to another exercise for someone to go after to, take that first baby step?
Mm-hmm. Good question. So I would say two things. Number one, if you're feeling that way or you're thinking that way, take a moment and celebrate that you are, because it means your pointer is on, that you're getting the messages. I mean, going through life on autopilot and just like bumbling through life, like that is a disease, I think. So we really want to be like, I'm feeling this way. I'm getting these signals. Take a moment to just have such gratitude that you're uncomfortable and not happy, because now you can do something about it. So that's number one. There's no shame here. We can make change. Number two, get your house in order. Absolutely. Unless you're nourished and you're healthy, mind, body, or soul, you can go out into the world and create and be your best version and help and have the impact, lead teams, whatever it is you want to do. I'm not saying you can't, but why would you want to do it on shaky foundation?
Right.
So get your house in order, ladies. Like really, truly take good care of yourself and do whatever it takes to get there. And that energy will then all of a sudden, the swirl of that will allow you to be like, boom, this is what I want, with such clarity, right?
Yeah. And I would say, especially because you're a coach, and I love what you said about, your antennas on and you already know that you need to make a change. What would you say to someone who isn't feeling those full body chills or that inner knowing, or is really even in touch with that voice? If you were coaching someone, how would you help them kind of come into alignment with that, or start being able to like pick up those frequencies? Not to be like totally wooey, but
No, let's go to the woo, because without the woo, then the woo is actually the soul and heart of us. We're human doers. We're great at doing, but as women, it's time to be and listen to the woo. So this is where we sink into who we're meant to be by tapping into this. So one of the things that I did, because I don't want to say do this and everything will be fine. one of the things that I did to tap into my woo was I committed to a 5-minute every single morning journaling practice. And eventually I did Julia Cameron's Artist Way, and it was
Yeah.
3 pages every single day. And holy crap, your hand just cramps up. 3
Dying.
pages is a lot. But I just wanted to do a baby journaling practice. I set the timer for 5 minutes and I do it free flow of consciousness with my coffee right in the morning. And I would just write, and then timer would be up and I'd finish. And over the days, I was like reading back, and I don't read what I write now, but at that time I was just curious. I was like, holy crap, do I really think those things? And and we know the Cleveland study says that like we have 80,000 thoughts every single day. And 80% of the thoughts we have every day are on repeat from yesterday. And I think like 95% of them are negative. We're biased towards negative thoughts. So this is why we're so powerful. First of all, what we think isn't true, because I mean, it's all negative and we always have to come back. But also our thoughts are so powerful because they guide us every day. So what if you write, and like we call it a thought download. So what if every day you just took 5 minutes and just downloaded those thoughts, put them in a nice package and said, thank you, person inside of me who doesn't believe, the limiting beliefs, the imposter, whatever. We don't need her today, but I'm just going to put you there and I'm going to carry on with my day. So I would start with finding a way to connect in silence, whether that's in meditation, whether that's a yoga nidra practice, whether that is journaling, but something that allows you to tap into you. That would probably be the first thing. I work with the person to find something that resonates with them as a practice.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, I think that that's really great. I think I have 2 directions I think we should go. One is like, you have so much wisdom. This could be a 5-hour episode, but I'm conscious that we don't, it won't be. And I want to make sure we get to this idea. Like, I want to know what your advice is to me as a woman who's in her mid-30s. Because most of our listeners are similar in age to us. And it's hard. I feel like you will not give us any bullshit. Sometimes it's hard to get real advice from people. Like, what would you say to women that are our age that we need to think about or be aware of or do that we maybe aren't thinking about or doing?
So I'm just going to take this as, what would I tell Janell? In her 30s, now that I've been through it. And I would say, number 1, clarity is queen. And what I mean by that is like, really, truly, what do you want? And not the shoulds, like I really should, or the other people's bullshit, or the goals you've had every year that you just keep moving over to the next year. None of that. Like, sit down and actually take time and put the effort into getting super clear on what it is that you want. And it's okay if it changes, by the way. Use perfectionists out there. They just think once you have something, it never can change. It could change. That's the other thing, is you can change your mind.
Speaking to 2. Well, yeah, I'm quite the perfectionist.
You can change your mind. Number 2, I would say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm speaking directly to, the day jobbers, the corporate leaders, all of us. We have great things that we're building. I'm not knocking it, but there's no guarantees.
Oh, I'm just raising my eyebrows because that applies to us for sure.
Yeah, there is no guarantees. So this is the time to be bold. This is the time where you don't say someday anymore and you get to it. So you want to launch the podcast, you want to create your own planner. I was like, how hard can it be? It was fucking hard, but I did it, right?
But just do it.
Let's do it. You don't know what you don't know. So you got to ride that wave of like excitement and passion and like, I really want to do this. Or you want to be on stages, go and hire a speaking coach, invest the money, go and do it. The reality is that we all say, oh, someday I'd love to write the book. Someday I'd love to. Unfortunately, we just are not guaranteed someday.
Mic drop.
Really?
I think people often too will think that everything is all or nothing. They have to like quit their job and pour everything into, these things. And the reality is you you don't have to. So what advice do you give clients who are like, if I want to write the book, I have to give up XYZ, or I'm going to basically, in order to get what I want, I have to blow up what I currently have. What
We
advice
could.
do you give
Burning it down is fun. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'll help
Been
you
there,
light the
done that.
bonfire. No worries. However, I also, being a Taurus and just a reasonable human being who has a mortgage and doesn't want to implode the dynamics of my relationship, taking baby steps, right? So, build something on the side. So one of my pillars of what I coach and facilitate is owning your time and your energy. So, I mean, Elizabeth Gilbert, one of my favorite people, she has this quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's basically, them talking back and forth. And Elizabeth Gilbert's like, you're right. I just have to start saying no to the things I don't want to do. And the mentor's like, no, no, no. It's much harder than that. You have to learn how to say no to things that you really do want to do, knowing that you only have so much time and energy. And so that's actually written in the very first page of my planner because it's that important. So really, if you want to accomplish something big, something impossible, something that lights your soul on fire, it's going to require you to focus and prioritize that for a period of time. We can't be shiny object syndrome and be like, why aren't my goals happening? You got to laser focus on something that you're really, truly happy about it. So the planning system I designed is actually a 3-month kind of sprint. And I believe 3 months is enough time to move the needle. So my advice would be pick something that lights your soul on fire. Like when you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, you're kind of nervous. You want to throw up a little bit. That's the thing. And once you get there, find a place that you can be held accountable, whether that's holding a coach, whether that's a friend, that's a community of people that have those same values or maybe have done the things that you want to do and you're at the kids' table, go sit at that table. Because if you surround yourself with people that are doing the things and that's just their normal life, then that moves your identity. You become that so much more quicker. And then the last thing I'll say, because this is what I'm all about, is it's time to make some bold moves. So if you commit to making, and this is, the program that I run called Bold, it's where you make one bold move a week towards that big impossible goal. And so you move the needle through practicing and flexing your ability to take bold action every single week. You may not get that impossible goal, but the person that you become in the pursuit of that by making those bold goals, you will never be the same. And if you're not changing every 3 months, then you're probably not doing it right anyways. Personal opinion.
Wow. That just lit me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
go.
like, what are my bold moves?
Man,
I think one other, oh, sorry, go ahead, cool.
No, go ahead.
I just had another question about, I know we're so Canadians. And when we have guests, we get really excited and then we just want to talk over each other. We also have a full episode questionnaire that we sent Janell that we haven't even fucking looked at the entire time. So there's that because we're all locked in. But I did have a question because you strike me as someone who has great self-awareness and great self-confidence. And I love your advice for women in their mid-30s, but I'm even thinking from a confidence perspective. You talked about your quote unquote rock bottom and seeing that picture of yourself. It must have been hard to build back up your confidence. Can you talk a little bit about how you nurtured your confidence and how other women, maybe it's not quite as dramatic as the experience you had, but how they can do that to continue to feel confident as they age?
Stop breaking promises to yourself. Every time you say, I'll start on Monday and you don't. Every time you say, I'm not doing that. Every time you swallow the, response that you have to your boss who's piling more work on you and not giving you that raise. Every time you accept the things and you don't follow through with commitments to yourself or promises to yourself, you're eroding the trust that you have in yourself and you get smaller and smaller and smaller. So instead, you say, this is a non-negotiable and I'm going to do this. When I first started, you know what I did? I said, I'm going to drink, the appropriate amount of water. I mean, I was really starting at the bottom here.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to do was prove to myself that I could too drink 3 liters of water a day. And I was like, cool, what else can I do? And then when I quit smoking, I was like, well, if I can freaking quit, I loved smoking. I was like the person that you would see
It's the
smoking and be like,
best.
she makes smoking look cool. And I quit smoking and I was just like, if I can quit smoking, like I could probably run for president. Like that's the confidence I got. So every time, I built and I layered on things that I'd said, I want to do this. And then I did it. Then all of a sudden I was building new neural pathways of the person who follows through on her commitments. I have
Mm.
integrity and I follow through on my commitments to myself first. Now I can show up as a better human, a mom, a leader to other people. And I'm known as someone who has integrity. Now that's real confidence. That's not outwardly things. This is just a swagger of you walking in a room knowing that you keep promises to yourself.
Well, and I think then those like big audacious goals that you set for yourself in any area of your life, whether it's, lose 50 pounds or, publish the book,
Hmm.
it's actually the small goals along the way that get you from point A to point Z that are going to give you the confidence every single day
Mm.
to keep going. And it's like you said, you may not reach your ultimate goal, but the person you become along that journey by keeping those promises to yourself is what's really going to set the tone for the person you're going to be and the identity that you're shifting into.
Mm. And you're going to
I
keep
almost
evolving your goals. So
Yeah.
that's, I
And
mean,
moving
us,
the line.
you move the line, or maybe you're like, I thought I wanted this, but actually I want this. I didn't even know about this thing when I started.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
other thing with bold moves, so I ran a program, it was 52 bold moves in 52 weeks, and 17 leaders, entrepreneurs, like we embarked on this journey. And it was like kind of funny because the bold move, that I thought was like pretty bold and like, week 8, I think I was like, I'm going to play with my Instagram stories and go live. I mean, I almost threw up when I did it, right? And then the bold moves that I was making at week 48 or 49, like I was a completely different person. And so it
Wow.
really is, about just taking that moment also to look back. And so I wrote down my 52 bold, we all did, right? Track them. And I remember flipping through them at the end and being like this is what living really was. Like I never felt I was more alive than that year that I did 52 bold moves.
I think that's so important to note because like living is not just going day to day and through the motions. It is pushing yourself, it's challenging yourself, it's living in what feels uncomfortable at times and almost icky, but it's every layer that you pull back on yourself to fully recognize and realize your own potential.
Yeah. Remember how fucking badass you are.
I love that. If you could, because I think I would love to sit down with a psychic and like have a crystal ball and know where I'm going to be in, 10 years time. If you could tell anything to the Janell back when you were 38 and all of this was kicking off, what would you say to her? What kind of glimpse to keep going, like a little beacon, would you tell?
It's better than you ever imagined. Like it's just so much better than you ever could imagine. Like just
You're
fucking
making me
keep going. Like
emotional.
I'm so emotional because I just remember being at that bottom place and just wondering. And now I'm like, I'm just fucking getting started. Like I have never felt better. I've never felt more healthier, more connected, and more sure of why I'm here and what I want to, the impact I want to have in the world. Right. So it may not happen overnight, but it's better than you ever imagined.
What? Oh, oh my God, that's beautiful.
Sorry, dude.
Jesus.
No, I'm getting so emotional. Like, it's amazing.
Because I think that's such a powerful thing for anyone to know. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you've accomplished, right? It's who you became along the way.
Mm-hmm. And how
And
I
it's,
feel.
yeah.
Ask
And
me
it's,
now
how
if
you
I feel
feel.
like a badass. Fuck yes.
and it's just, starting, asking yourself the question, is this all there is? Can be a pretty powerful question to really turn the mirror around.
Yeah. The best thing you could ever do is actually ask that question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to close with a question around, like we always ask people, because you talked about like it's so much better than you ever thought it could be. like, what does better look like for you these, like, what does your life look like? You know, what makes it better?
I did this perfect day exercise at a retreat that we hosted a long time ago. And it was like, I wake up every day and I have this amazing Americano with cream, and my
Yeah.
body is lean and I feel so strong and my clothes just fit me amazing. And I'm the rollover and the love of my life, that kind of stuff. And I roll through my day. And I remember not too long ago, I found it and I read it and I'm like, damn, that is my life.
Oh,
And it wasn't these huge moments. It was like, I have time. I have white space in my life. I have people that I don't have a lot of friends, but the people I have, man, like you could call them in the middle of the night, like, dude, I need 10 grand. I can't tell you why. Meet me at the store. They would be like, sure, dude.
Love it.
It's like you're surrounded the people that and they love me and they know me for this version of Janelle. And when I
yeah.
share my previous versions of Janelle, they're just like, holy shit, love her too.
The people that love you at every version of yourself.
They love the 1,000 versions of me that made up this person that's today, and they'll love the 1,000 versions that's coming. So yes, yeah, and of course, I love that I have a business, that I'm helping people, that I'm following my passion. Like I have dreams, and I'm just getting started. I love all that, but the present today that I have, where I wake up and I'm like, yeah, this moment, and I get to go and snuggle with my daughter, who still calls me into her room in the morning and wants me to be like, part of her life. Like, yes, that feels really good to me. So these little moments, it's not about the big things, but I'm going after the big things, enjoying the little moments.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Janelle, thank you so much for
This
joining
has
us
been
today.
really good.
Yeah. Where can people find you? Tell them a little bit about how they can connect with you and work with you, even in some capacities.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. If you're the type of person who ain't here to play small, and we can certainly talk. I'm not for everyone, but that's okay. So janellkarst.com, my website has like all the ways. You could follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, the same thing. I also have a little something for you, and I'll get the ladies to put it in the show notes. So this is a tool that I use with all my clients when we start working together. It's something that's built into the Badass Planner every month. And it's something that I use anytime I'm like overwhelmed. I'm like, meh, kind of lost my spark a little bit. I'm kind of wandering. I just print this out, spend 15 minutes with this tool, and I immediately feel clearer. I feel lighter, and I know exactly what my next step is. So I would love for people to connect with that free tool. And if you use it, let me know how you feel. And yeah, I got lots of cool things happening. So if this vibe, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, like let's hang out.
I love this. I can't thank you enough. I mean, like I said, we met 15 years ago, and it's so nice to reconnect too.
Yes.
And this version of yourself and the joy, because I remember this. Maybe it's not been that long, but I remember this version of you when we first met too. So it's so nice to see, the blue in your eyes, and this amazing personality and bubbly, exuberant energy that you have. But thank you so much for joining us. This was
Ladies,
amazing.
keep being bold and badass.
You're our first interview of 2026.
Yep.
And I think if
First of a
this is
series, they're doing series now,
well,
listeners.
exactly,
Yes.
we're doing series. Well, you've started it. Now we have to. But if this is how our interviews are gonna go, which we are manifesting, then we're very lucky. So
We're all
thank you
in.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.